Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you from the temple town of Puri. Of course, it's the temple state. Bhubaneswar and Puri, between them have about 1200 temples, and all of them over hundreds of years old. In fact, this Lord Jagannath temple is probably 1200 years old, and this is the Lord that determines the fortunes and the fate here in the state of Odisha. And here, of course, the battle is between the BJP and the Biju Janata Dal. The Congress seems to have ceded ground. Today with me, two-time Lok Sabha election winner in 2009 and 2014, Pinaki Misra of the Biju Janata Dal.
Actually 3 times. I won in 96 as well.
All right, 96, 2009 and 2014, and to his right is Sucharita Mohanty from the Congress party, who was his competitor, contestant from the Congress party in 2014. To my left, we have debut maker Dr. Sambit Patra from the BJP, who's going to challenge Pinaki Misra right here. Are we going to see a very fiery session between them? And to his left is Anand Ranganathan, scientist and political analyst and author. Well, let me just start this first with Pinaki Misra. Pinaki Misra, it's Naveen Patnaik who's been the roadblock between the BJP and its East policy. Even in the Modi wave of 2014, you were the speed breaker. What do you think 2019 is going to look like, especially at a time when Naveen Patnaik is facing a 19-year anti-incumbency, and there are all these rumors about his health? Of course, even a video being put out by your party about Naveen Patnaik and his fitness regime virtually to prove his critics wrong.
Let me first, Navika, straight away debunk your apprehension that there might be some verbal fireworks today between the BJP contestant and myself. You know, the people of Odisha are very, very refined people. People of Puri are, of course, even more refined than the people of the rest of Odisha, really, because of this hallowed temple here behind us. They don't like coarseness of language. They don't like, a language which hits below the belt, and which is why they've, by the way, taken great exception to some of the statements that have come from some of the highest, functionaries of the BJP, who've used very coarse language in denouncing Naveen Patnaik. Now, coming to your question, let me straight away tell you, Lokniti carried out a survey recently. It was a very exhaustive survey. I have the report right here. Extremely detailed, not sketchy at all, and they are continuing to give us 44% of the vote. The BJP continues to be at 27%, which has been their traditional vote now for the last 5 years, and the Congress, of course, at 17. My honest feeling, I'll tell you, is this 17 is probably going to dip. Puri, for instance, the Congress is going to be virtually nowhere. It's going to be a direct fight this time, and that's quite sad for the Congress, because Ms. Mohanty here was number 2 last time, and the BJP was actually number 3 last time. But this time, I don't see the Congress, even crossing 70,000, 75,000 votes, quite honestly. The point is that Naveen Patnaik and the BJD behemoth, and this is a behemoth here, it's a massive fighting machine as far as elections are concerned, withstood the real Modi wave of 2014. This is now sought to be a contrived kind of a manufactured Modi wave. This is not a spontaneous Modi wave. This is a whipped up kind of trying to attempt a Modi wave. Principally national security, principally Balakot, not a whisper about track record, not a whisper about promises made in 2014, kept, not kept. So therefore, according to me, Odisha is continuing and will continue to repose faith in somebody who's had a track record from 2014, who's, I think, delivered on his track record from 2014, continues to deliver. Health issues, absolutely nothing to it. The videos which have been put out are genuine videos. He does work out every morning. There were rumors which were spread in Central Hall and outside by certain vested interests. Mr. Patnaik's already spoken about it. They all now are a part of the BJP. So therefore, I don't believe that there's any problem with his health. God willing, he's going to continue to serve the people of Odisha for many years to come.
Well, Dr. Sambit Patra, manufactured Modi wave in 2019, and where will that leave you as the contestant from Puri and the BJP's overall agenda of maximizing West Bengal and Odisha, because everywhere else where you performed last time, you had already maximized it? Can you actually break the juggernaut, the behemoth that Pinaki Misra is talking about, the Biju Janata Dal in Odisha?
Navika, first welcome to my state, welcome to my Puri, welcome to the abode of Lord Jagannath, and let me congratulate you by saying the Times Now has given us the best setting, the backdrop of Lord himself. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatume. I pray to thee that please stand in front of my eyes and give me your vision, the divine vision. That is what this state of Odisha, that is what Puri is all about. Remember, I may be contesting Pinaki, we may be a fight between BJD and BJP, but our Lord, the Supreme Lord, the uncontested candidate who is always victorious is Jagannath. He is the only politician, the Lord, the Chief, the Raja of Puri. So I bow before him first, and then coming to the political part of it. First and foremost, you use the word Juggernaut right now. Do you know where this word gets its derivation from? Juggernaut comes from the word Jagannath. Because when the Rath Yatra of Jagannath starts in the Bordanda, right in front of where you are debating, since it is quite humongous, it just is not stoppable, it's unstoppable, and that's where the Britishers got the word Juggernaut. Number two, 2014 elections. Well, yes, there was a Modi wave. We did not do well in Orissa. The reason being, the organization in Orissa was not ripe enough to change this mood, the Modi mood into votes. We could not catch that. Thanks to Amit Shah, the Chanakya of Indian politics, he has in fact done a tremendous job in the organizational development in Odisha. We have literally doubled the basic unit, that is the mandals. Previously we had 500 mandals, now we have 1000 mandals, meaning more workforce on the ground to catapult this mood of Mr. Modi to convert it into votes. So we'll have a change this time. You have been going around the state, I believe since long. You have your ears to the ground. You know what's the word over here, quote unquote, the buzzword is Parivartan. They all want Parivartan. There's a strong undercurrent.
Just like they wanted a Parivartan in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan?
Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan, you would see, when the results would come for the Member of Parliament seats, you would see as to how beautifully we are going to perform there.
So losing state governments don't matter to you?
No, it's not that. We did not lose Madhya Pradesh, I would say. 9 seats this side or that side, despite 15 years of
rule. A loss is a loss?
No, of course a loss is a loss, but I would not go that way. I would say, look, if you are comparing Orissa, that while Naveen Patnaik is the one who is standing as a roadblock between Modi and Orissa, I would say this was the narrative a few years, or I would say only a year back with Manik Sarkar. That Manik Sarkar is a roadblock for entry of Modi to Northeast. Almost the attire of Manik Sarkar, Naveen Patnaik, with all due respect to every individual, appears same. There was a comparison in the media between Manik Sarkar and Naveen Patnaik. With all due respect to Mr. Sarkar, he does not hold the portfolio that he was holding a few years back. He had a so-called, quote-unquote, so-called impeccable track record as per the media, but he is nowhere. In Uttar Pradesh, we never expected that Bharatiya Janata Party will get 325 seats. Here we are with 325 seats. 5 phases of elections had gone into Uttar Pradesh, and yet the media predicted that achhe ladke aane wale hain. But it was Mr. Modi. The same was the situation in other states like Haryana and Maharashtra, where BJP had no formation. Gradually, we came up with our chief ministers in these states. I don't want to, I concede with what Mr. Pinaki said, that people of Odisha are extremely courteous. We do not want to have a verbal... No tutu meme, only on facts.
Not like Uttar Pradesh.
See, every state had its own way of functioning. I respect Uttar Pradesh. It is the political heart of India. Orissa is the cultural heart of India, and with the announcement of Bharatiya Janata Party in its manifesto only about 4 days ago, that Puri, just as Delhi is the political capital of India, the Bharatiya Janata Party, if comes to government, will declare Puri as the cultural capital of India. So this is the place of culture, of courtesy. No fight. On facts, he spoke about survey. I saw a survey in many news channels only a couple of days ago. 13 seats is what they are showing, and they showed that Puri seat is going to be one of the most important seats which they have declared as victory for Bharatiya Janata Party. I'll wait for the results, no big talks, but the surveys are clearly giving an edge to Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm sure my leader, Mr. Narendra Modi, which is agenda of development, is going to assert victory in Odisha.
Let me get in Sucharita Mohanty. Sucharita, Pinaki made that point. You were number 2 in 2014 in Puri as a contestant opposite Mr. Pinaki Misra. But the fact is, the Congress is completely ceded ground. Congress is not a force countrywide. Is this a tacit understanding so that you allow regional leaders to give the challenge to the BJP and the juggernaut of Narendra Modi? Or has the Congress just wilted without having any base, any cadre on the ground?
Let's see, Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi has many criteria for development. Even the manifesto talks about unemployment, all kinds of like farmers' distress, MSP, everything.
It's not to be heard on the streets of various
Rahul
cities in
Gandhi,
Odisha.
He is one person. Obviously, he won't be present everywhere and saying the telling the
So where's
same
the
thing.
cadre?
No, there is a cadre in Odisha, but unfortunately, he couldn't ensure that the message reaches out to the
So
villages.
you admit that he hasn't been able.
I do. But there is some lapse in the state leadership. I do, and that is why we have landed here. We are in such a bad state of affairs. Everything is in a mess. I do admit, but it's not a permanent phase. We'll overcome this.
Is it
And
a
we have-
walkover, Pinaki Misra, that Sucharita Mohanty has just admitted to? And do you think schemes like Nyay have absolutely no linkage to the people on the ground, given the fact that Naveen Patnaik is already giving 1 rupee per kilo rights to the people?
Navika, elections is all about vote gathering. It's harvesting of votes. No matter what your fancy policy is, no matter how noble your intent is that you're going to implement it, at the end of the day, as Dr. Patra rightly said, unless you have the machinery to harvest votes, you have nothing. Now, Dr. Patra said that in 5 years, they've actually got a good machinery in place now. Mera booth mazboot. Why did they have to then, after tom-tomming the fact that we're going for mission 120 plus, why did they have to have 1/3 of their candidates, MP candidates, and almost 1/3 of their MLA candidates are all BJD rejects? Everybody Naveen Patnaik did not give a ticket to, immediately was shown an open door that please come to us, because they didn't have the bench strength. They still don't have the
Are you
bench
the
strength.
BJD seconds shop, that
As
whoever
far
is
as
rejected by the BJD comes to the BJP?
I would say leave aside the rhetorics, but what we have to really buy from the debate which has proceeded till thus is the Congress spokesperson and my good friend, Ms. Mohanty, has said something extremely important. She literally said that, well, it's in a bad shape, it's in shambles. The Congress is nowhere over here in Odisha. And what Mr. Pinaki is trying to state from the beginning itself is who gets the Congress votes. There's a tacit understanding between the BJD and the Congress, because the BJD is eyeing for the Congress votes. This is how they're sharpening their machinery, because they know that there has been a
But
fall.
many will say there is a tacit understanding between the BJD and the BJP, because the BJD has bailed you out several times in the previous Lok Sabha, in the president's election, vice president's election, in the chairman of the deputy chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, in the no confidence vote. They just conveniently walked out, allowing you to sail through that vote. दोनों तरफ चलता है ये.
No, not at all. If you are by the truth, then others are left with no other option but to stand by the truth. Let Mr. Pinaki say that he was against all these. The party was against all this. Why did they give support to us? It was only because of the fact that we were on the lines of merit. That's the reason as to why they were left with no other option but to support us. But you have to understand that the elephant in the room is the missing Congress vote. Which side does it go? And that's the reason as to why I would like to appeal the people that the BJD's machinery today is trying to pull the Congress votes towards itself through means which I would say are unscripturous, are not the fair means, which is wrong. And the people of this state do not want a Congress BJD combined in any way.
So let me get an Anand Ranganathan. Anand
I'll answer that
Ranganathan.
if you don't mind in a bit. Just give
Yeah.
me a chance. Okay, may I?
Yeah,
Straight away.
please.
Dr. Patra very conveniently, and the Prime Minister himself has given the Tripura analogy. What did the BJP do in Tripura? Mr. Manik Sarkar did not drop a single point, a single percent in his vote. He stood at 45% for the last 20 years. He had 45% this year. Why did he lose? Because they harvested 33% of the Congress vote. They had 18%. That 33 plus 18 made it 51. That's how he lost. So therefore, this is all about politics. There's no understanding at all. There is no tacit, overt, any kind of understanding. The Congress vote will go to one who they believe is going to form the next government, and who will then they will be part of the government. That's as simple as that.
Well,
the winner
I'll
takes
come back
all.
to that
It's the winner
question.
takes all. That's the
I'll
issue.
come back to that question, because that question is not settled yet. But Dr. Sambit Patra, I'll come back to you, and Anand Ranganathan, I want to get you in. If this is the situation on the ground in Odisha, let's expand it to the national level. I want to ask you, if people are voting a particular candidate or a particular chief of a party, Modi or Naveen Patnaik, should the discourse not really be about development, about vision for the country, about national security, or should it be restricted to something like polarization? You may not see too much of polarization in Odisha because there's just 2.2% Muslim vote, the rest are all Hindus, and in the temple town of Lord Jagannath, it may not matter, but countrywide, don't you see, other than the development narrative, everything else is being spoken about? The Prime Minister yesterday spoke about Balakot and appealed to the first-time voters to give their votes on the basis of the Pulwama attack, to the martyrs as well as to those braves on the ground of the Balakot airstrikes. Do you think this is actually using the narrative of national security for just garnering votes? After this, what next?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you've made a really important point, and I'll extend that to my questions to each of the three panelists out here. But first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful breeze blowing. You have the blowing of the conches, you have the clash of the cymbals in more ways than one. And I do agree with Mr. Pinaki saying that the most there's so much bonhomie amongst the panelists out here. I'm just shocked that
you're missing the Delhi studio.
I'm missing the Delhi studio. I'm really. But we've had so much of political discussion since the start of the program. So because I'm not a politician, I would like to gently veer the discussion, if I may, towards some really important issue. And that important issue is the economy of the country. So just bear with me for 1 minute. Now, of course, India has to be a welfare state. Nobody is denying that. We are a democracy, and it is our duty to be a welfare state, to care for the needy. The question is, as I've said it before, socialism can only be sustained in a capitalist state. So, when you have Congress bringing up a scheme like Nyay, BJP trying to trumpet with extending the farmer thanks to the farmer scheme to all farmers. I'm going to come to that, Dr. Patra. You have BJD having 1 rupee per kilo rice. The point is, where is the money coming from? Now, you have the debt to GDP ratio of India about 62%. It has increased from 55% in 2015-16. Odisha, the debt to GDP ratio has increased from 19% 3 years ago to 24% now. The point is, you can be a socialist unless you run out of other person's money. Now, 21%, I'm sorry giving all these numbers.
Are you buying votes through these schemes, Dr. Sambit, Patra and Pinaki Misra?
Well, what Anand bears out is that Odisha is much better than the national average.
It is.
Much better than the national. Odisha is significantly superior to the national average.
I wasn't finished yet.
I'm sorry.
If you don't mind. 30 more seconds.
Navika asked me, that's why.
Yeah, so
I
would
never
like
interrupt.
Dr. Patra to be, clearly give the reason where this money of extending the 6,000 rupees per year to every farmer is going to come from. I would like to ask the Congress spokesperson where the money, 72,000 rupees per year, which is nearly comes to about 3.6 lakh crore GDP, and Odisha's total GDP, GSDP is 4.1 lakh crore. Where is that money going to come from? And where is the money going to come from, Mr. Pinaki, for 1 rupee per rice? These are the three questions.
All right, start with Dr. Sambit.
Yeah.
See, as far as the central government is concerned, we have given out our account books time and again. We have had increased inflows into our coffers, let's say through the increase in GST taxes, through the indirect and the direct taxes. So the government has worked in a way in which the filling of the coffers increases, and that's the reason as to why the outflow also can be increased, so that we can have welfare schemes reaching the poor farmers. So the basic issue is, over here, I'm standing in Odisha, I'm an Odia. Let me tell you, this beautiful state has everything that anyone can dream of. We are in Puri, we have, Mr. Anand was talking about breeze, we have a huge coastline from here, almost 500-kilometer coastline. Odisha has that. It has ample potential for a blue revolution. It is rich in minerals. Name the mineral, you have it in Odisha. Name the enterprise. People of this beautiful state are quite hardworking, they are very simple people, they never cheat you. With all these things, we have fertile soil. With all these, what is the reason as to why Odisha still remains as one of the backward states? as to why Odisha
And
still
you're
is
seeking
not
a
a forward.
special status as
No,
well.
as far as the special status is concerned, we all have to follow what the Constitution lays out. We had the 14th Finance Commission clearly directing that there is nothing called a special status anymore, and only some special status can be given for the hilly tribal regions of the northeast, etc. So we cannot circumvent what the Constitution lays down.
Pinaki, I want to ask you, if the concerns that are being raised by Dr. Patra here today, is this the real flow of the conversation across the country, or are we really getting caught between Yogi Adityanath's Ali versus Bajrang Bali statement that came?
No, in Odisha, this is completely, without
No,
any
I'm talking
foundation.
about the national.
I'll just come to the national narrative, but I need to answer both Dr. Patra and Anand. Three very quick points. Special category status. The first point in their 2014 manifesto, and this is a sore point for Odisha, let me tell you. First point, we will strive vigorously. It's in Odia, I can read it out if you like, but we will strive vigorously to get special category status. Until it comes, we shall carry the fight to the center. This is their first promise. Not a whisper thereafter for 5 years. They changed the ground rules. They changed Niti Aayog. They brought in the Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog suddenly says Odisha is not, eligible. On what ground? We've had 80 years of real misfortune here. On what ground do you cancel it? Number two, he says about non-utilization of funds. DMF straight away the entire issues in the Supreme Court. I'm sure he knows about it. Number two, non-utilization. There are central ministers who have gone from ministry to ministry, literally door to door, telling people ensure that the utilization certificates never come from Odisha, because put in so many conditions that you cannot get utilization certificates. Without utilization certificates, there can be no further release of funds. So it's been a deliberate sabotage because of which Odisha has not managed.
Deliberate sabotage.
Just number three, quickly. Anand asked about.
Dr. Patra didn't answer the
And
question
1
that
rupee.
I had
I answered every question frontally. 1 rupee kilo rice from 2009 we've been giving it. It's part of our budget. Kalia scheme, you should have asked me. That's more important, because that's a phenomenal scheme which the Chief Minister has promised every farmer will get. Kalia, how will it be funded? Do you have any idea about the kind of mineral auctions that are going to take place next year, Anand? We are going to be so rich, you have no idea.
So then you don't need a special status.
Look, special. Why?
No, you can't have it both ways.
Look.
You're rich, you're going to be rich,
Going-
and you want a special status.
Going forward, what we want is something quite different from what the BJP promised going back. Please, there's a principle involved here.
I mean, I would say,
There's a principle involved.
Mr.
आपके पास तिजोरी है, पैसा देते रहिए,
Navika, Mr.
और लोकसभा राज्यसभा में सपोर्ट लेते रहिए.
Navika,
Is
Mr.
that
Pinaki has
what
been
we are
caught
seeing in
red-handed
politics
today. He says in the futuristic sense that we are going to be so rich. How does anyone know? As far as Department of Minerals is concerned, as far as resources is concerned, no one can predict as to what you are having inside the ground. So you are going to be extremely rich in the future.
Dr. Patra, what are you saying? I'm sorry.
No, sir, let me
All
complete,
the
sir.
geological
Sir,
deposits
sir.
are well known.
Just a second.
They're all
Just a
known.
second. No, just a second. Just a
Everybody
second.
knows
I
that.
have gone through the BJD manifesto also. It's all in the futuristic sense. Presently, they want a special status, which, according to Pinaki ji, was wrong. Yes, we fought for it in 2014. 2014 and 2015, we had the 14th Finance Commission, which spoke against it, which laid down the ground rules. So naturally, we all have to follow the ground rules. Secondly, most of their manifesto and their speeches talks in futuristic sense. We are going to be rich. We are going to give everything to Odisha. After 19 years of misrule, if you say that everything is going to happen in the future, the question that people of Odisha are going to ask, what did you do for 19 long years?
Good question, Sucharita Mohanty.
People must be very foolish to keep voting us back for 19 years then.
Well, we'll see. There is a election that's going on.
Congress
But
was in power for
Sucharita,
70 long
I
years.
want to take this
No,
debate
no.
now once
Yeah.
again on the national scale.
So
On the national scale,
Yeah.
it is very much perceived as a Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi battle. Where is Rahul Gandhi today? If Narendra Modi is talking about votes on the name of Balakot, votes on the name of Pulwama martyrs, then what is Rahul Gandhi doing? What is Rahul Gandhi doing by saying I'm a Shiv Bhakt, my Gotra is Dattatreya, I'm a Brahman by birth, and in the assembly elections of the three Hindi heartland states, and now going to a Hindu minority seat in Wayanad as a second option, safe option. That doesn't show too much confidence on the part of Rahul Gandhi.
It's he's let me first answer you about this Wayanad thing. Wayanad he went because it's a 3 states, border of 3 states. So people of South, they wanted him to represent that place, so that because they were feeling neglected, the people of South, that in Congress, they were thinking it's very North-centric, That is what they wanted. So Rahul Gandhi contested there not because he's scared or anything.
And then the seat of Wayanad, which is minority dominated and not a Hindu. So what happens to Shiv Bhakti there?
No, Shiv Bhakti.
Is that double speak?
He doesn't talk about Shiv Bhakti. It's the media hype and all that he's saying he's talking about Gotra and all that. It's
Wow.
lot of it is media, you also know.
Is that the bane in this election, that the regional parties haven't really been able to come together?
Well, the regional parties, I think, will come together after the elections. You know, we have no stake in Andhra, we have no stake in Telangana, we have no stake in West Bengal. There's no reason for us to, form some kind of a coalition before the elections.
So
but
you're saying the bargaining
Mr.
will
Naveen
begin
Patnaik is
post-elections?
look, bargaining is for the best of the state. That's it. There's no other bargain. You know that. Mr. Patnaik has repeatedly said we are equidistant from both the UPA and the NDA. Let's see if there is going to be a parliament where our support will be required eventually. Let's see which side firstly measures up as closest to the tape, and secondly, let's find out what they're willing to do for the state. It's as simple as that. Therefore, let the numbers
But
roll
you're
in.
saying you're not ruling out support to Narendra Modi.
Look, I'm not on individuals at all. I am on configurations of political parties. Let's not talk about individuals. It's an NDA versus UPA. So therefore, I'm not on individuals at all. If the NDA
NDA is led by Modi.
Well, I mean, today, I don't know. Let the election results come in.
Okay, that's a big point.
Categorically, on this very important platform of Times Now, I, the national spokesperson of Bharatiya Janata Party, would like to state that we are never going to have the BJD as a part of the NDA.
We don't wish to be part of the NDA. We don't wish to be part of the NDA.
No, just a second.
And now, no offer at all.
Navika, just a second, because you asked the question to Pinaki, are you going to support Mr. Modi? He was dilly-dallying. He said that I would not speak about individuals. I, as the national spokesperson of BJP, said, we don't want him. We don't want Biju Janata Dal at all. We will be victorious. Mr. Modi would be the Prime Minister because we want a sure-footed government. We want a majboot government in the centre. And well, yes, many of us, you over here, stated that Balakot is being made an issue in the national politics. Why should it not be? National security is one of the most, after hunger, after starvation, after food, after home, the second most important issue is national security. If you are not secure, why are we debating then? We need national security, and here we have a man called Mr. Narendra Modi who can give us security
Pinaki Misra,
against
national
terrorism.
security
Dr. Patra, you endorse a statement called Modi ji ki Sena? You endorse that? Please say so on national TV.
Desh ki Sena hai.
Modi,
No, just
your
a second.
UP chief minister said Modi ji ki Sena.
Just a second.
It's one of the most
for that, Mr.
despicable
Yogi has
statements.
already given a reply to the Election Commission of
And
India.
the election commission has reprimanded him.
Censored
He has
him
given an
deeply.
answer to the Election Commission of India. I don't want to go that
This is a reprehensible mindset.
What I need,
बाल की खाल नहीं है.
Just a second.
बाल की खाल नहीं है.
Just a second. Navika,
मोदी की सेना और forces की शान में कुछ तो फर्क होगा.
It is always India's forces. We are proud of our India's forces. Let me tell you,
फिर
Navika.
योगी क्यों कहते हैं मोदी
Navika,
की
let me
सेना?
tell you. As far as
Is Modi India and India
no,
Modi,
of
and
course,
that's the central narrative
Modi is
that is
chai
being
wala.
opposed.
Modi is chai wala. A chai wala, a poor man, of course, is representative of India. But an individual is never India. Because in BJP, we never believe in individualism. And that's why Mr. Modi has always represented nation first, party second, and the self last. The man himself has said that he is the one who is the last. He is the Sevayat. He is the sevak of this country, not just the Prime Minister and the Pradhan Mantri of the country. But coming to the moot point over here, Pinaki ji spoke about one of their welfare schemes. Sorry, I said farewell schemes. It may act as a farewell scheme,
Freudian
by the way.
slip. I don't know if you thought it was a Freudian
Actually, the
slip
best Freudian-
or
the best
Dr.
Freudian-
Patra being clever by half.
The best
I'll
Freudian slip,
come
by the way,
with that. I'll come with
Sambit ji,
that.
the best Freudian
I'll
slip was when
come-
Sambit ji
I'll
came out of the
come
Lord
with that.
Jagannath's
Okay, well,
darshan
I
and
amend that. I amend
said that
Just
I
a
want the
second,
shank
Pinaki ji,
to
Pinaki.
blossom. That is our symbol.
Pinaki. So they said that it's a welfare scheme, Kalia Yojana. No, please go to the ground. Take a research on Kalia Yojana. After 19 years, suddenly they remember the icons of Odisha. Kalia means Jagannath. Kalia Yojana. Pitha Yojana. Pitha is a kind of sweet cake that Oriyas make. Suddenly after 19 years, they come up with all this. What has happened on the ground in the villages is, most of these Yojanas, they have been given to the party workers to bolster their courage, to make them stand behind BJD. 90% of the villagers are bereft of most of these quote-unquote farewell or welfare schemes, and that is the reason as to why I say that these welfare schemes, ironically, may act as the farewell scheme for the Biju Janata Dal.
Anand Ranganathan, are you convinced? Are you convinced with the rhetoric that's coming from both sides?
Well, I mean, they are past masters of dishing out rhetoric, but let me not go into that domain. I want, So I asked 3 questions, one each
want
to
to
the
answer that.
panelists, and I
He's
think
the second
only
anchor today.
Mr. Pinaki, I have to be honest,
I
here
want to
answered the
answer.
question.
See, only if
You know,
Navika
but
gives
okay, so let me ask another question, and
No, let me
this time
answer
to
the
the three
first
of
one.
you.
Now.
You see, there
No,
was a
now that
Niti,
time is gone.
Niti Ayog commission, had a committee, and there was a report that in terms of tourism potential, Odisha ranks second in India. It is phenomenal. I mean, you just have to look down at our temples in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. At the same time, in the last 5 years, India has grown to 9% in terms of foreign tourism, attracting foreign tourism. Odisha, a pitiful 4.5%. So I want to ask to all the 3 Odia friends here. This is one, you talked about mineral wealth, of course it is, but it will be shared overwhelmingly by the center.
Untapped
This is
potential.
something. I'll just finish
Which
in
is
10
why
seconds.
you still
What
require
is your
special
policy
status.
to both?
Anand, you
you know.
fairly conceded. I answered your last question.
first
I'm going to
one.
answer your question frontally. Orissa is not Goa. It will never be Goa. Orissa is not Maldives. It will never be Maldives. This is a temple town. The heart is Lord Jagannath. Your beaches here, you cannot have foreigners in bikinis or top nude bathing. You cannot have beach shacks. You can't have beer shacks.
I'm
you
sorry,
can't.
but
I'm sorry.
alarmist.
I'm sorry.
You're
That's
being
the
alarmist
truth.
out here.
The truth is there is a particular kind of tourism
So,
that comes to
so
Orissa.
you're saying,
Puri
you're
today.
saying
Navika,
when Modi
That's a very
says no
alarmist,
beef, no cow to be protected, it's in keeping with the culture. Are you saying mentally?
Of course, in Orissa is a very, very conservative state that way. And
So-
let me
so
tell you.
on this ground, you're with Modi?
Anand, sorry. Yeah,
Just to finish the point,
if you hit the
88% of the tourist arrivals in Odisha are domestic.
That's right. Because
But
the foreign
should you
tourists-
change that?
The foreign
Like,
tourists
where is
want
the money going to?
The foreign tourists
Give me
want
some time
discotheques.
on
The
this.
foreign tourists wants beer bars. The foreign
No, come on. That's being
or they want
unfair.
drugs. Look, they want
Drugs,
Yes,
beer bars.
I'll
of
answer
course.
this. I'll answer
I'm
That's how
making bold to say so.
tourism is.
No.
That's how
Goa
tourism
thrives
is.
because of that.
Sir, this is misinterpretation of tourism. I agree that culturally we have to be as we are, but we have to remember one thing. There were hordes of foreigners in this very temple town of Puri previously.
They still
Why?
are.
Just a
ISKCON
second, sir. Just a
people are
second.
still coming
Just
here.
a second, sir. Hordes of foreigners over here. Why have they dropped? I'll tell you the ground report. You can please confirm that. Ironically, this beautiful state of Puri, the beautiful city of Puri, which should have been the spiritual, the Adhyatmic hub of India, thanks to some of the miscreants, and those miscreants are politicians of Puri. They are dabangs.
Which party?
BJD. I can name them also.
The number
Just a
one
second.
miscreant is
No,
their
just-
Puri
just-
candidate
just-
now.
Just a second.
He's the
Please.
number one
Can I please?
miscreant.
I thought that we are not
I
going
don't
to
want- I don't want
just
this
a second,
debate
sir.
to
Just
degenerate
Anandji,
into-
Anandji, we are candidates. Let's debate like that. Number one, we have converted, thanks to the BJD goons, they have converted Puri into the crime capital. गोली चलती है यहाँ पे एटी गोली चले बम फुटुची एटी गोली चलिब बम फुटिब जगन्नाथ मंदिर अच्छे एटी गोली चलिक बम फुटिब लोक मर्डर हम एटी ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ଏଠି କ'ଣ ଯେ ଏମ୍ଏଲ୍ଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି ପୁରୀର ସେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ମହିମା ମହାନ୍ତି କ'ଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଠି ଗୋଳି ମାରୁଛନ୍ତି ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ଏଠି ରାତିରେ ଗୋଳି ମାରୁଛି ଏଟ୍ ଦ ମିଡ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ନାଇଟ୍ ପିପଲ୍ ଡାଇ ଓଭର ହିୟର व्हाई इज दिस व्हाट जगन्नाथ जी इज टू सी सेकेंडली ड्रग्स यहाँ आप बताइए कहाँ कहाँ ड्रग मिलता है जाके देखिए क्या ड्रग का धंधा किसने खोल रखा है हु इज द वन हु हैज स्टार्टेड द ड्रग बिजनेस ओवर हियर वी हैव टू जब धर्म का पतन इस धर्म के सिटी में होगा हम लोग धर्म को बचाने आएंगे धर्म नीड्स टू बी सेव्ड नंबर 3 पीपली कम्स विद इन द पूरी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी नाविका यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड ऑफ द बेबीना रेप केस The Bebina rape case found echo across the country. The same man who was accused, who was alleged, just a second,
Haram?
was a minister in BJD's council. He was removed by Naveen ji himself.
He was not
from
an
the
accused.
ministry.
Please
Just
don't misstate facts.
Alleged.
He was not an
He had-
accused. He was never an
He
accused.
helped the rapist. He
So
helped
please
the
don't say
rape.
he's an accused.
So why did Naveen Patnaik remove him from the ministry?
He
Sir,
rightly
sir, we
removed
should
him.
not. We should not be fighting like this.
Sambit
I
ji,
think we are courteous.
don't call him an
people.
accused.
Let me complete.
Can
Sir,
I-
you can
Dr.
counter me.
Patra,
He
I
was
want
removed.
Ms. Mohanty
But
to
same
come in.
I want
say
to come
Pradeep
back to
Bharati
the
was
central
There's
point.
two men.
I want to come back to the central point. If you are such a protector of culture and faith, what happened to the Ram Mandir in the last 23 years? Where is the Ram Mandir? आपका जो मैनिफेस्टो है सेंट्रल मैनिफेस्टो 1996 से इट्स बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द राम मंदिर वेयर इज इट टुडे हाउ डू पीपल बिलीव यू दैट यू विल एक्चुअली सेफगार्ड द कल्चरल कैपिटल हियर इन Odisha?
See, number one, Navika, you yourself have agreed rightly that we are the only political party in this country who have had a mention of the Ram temple in our manifesto. The other political parties look the other way around, and ironically they have always spoken against the Ram Mandir, and recently, after their jibe of secularism has died down, they are taking a dilly-dally position.
The temple is not to be promised in the manifesto. वहाँ थोड़ी construct होना है.
Navika, I
Construct
agree.
तो अयोध्या में होना है.
Navika, I agree.
आपके तो खाली manifesto में construct होता है.
Navika, the Prime Minister himself has given that answer in the interview that we have to follow the Constitution, and if and the courts, and of course if the courts give out a ruling, thereafter we have thought on the floor of the Parliament. But remember one thing, we are the facilitators towards it. We want the court to hear it at the earliest. We do not give any kind of obstruction in the court, unlike the Congress party.
Are they the only guardians of faith and culture of the country?
I mean, that's again such a myopic view. Each one of us, 120 crore Indians, are repositories as well as guardians of our own culture, our own religion. So therefore, for anybody to appropriate this, that it is my army, it is my culture, I am the only protector of India, everybody else who doesn't agree with me can leave India. I'm so sorry. That's
But
not
Pinaki,
the way India
you
functions.
will admit amongst the national parties, Prime Minister Modi is the only man and the only party, the BJP, which has an agenda on national issues. For example, like I said, national security is a very important issue.
Unexceptionably. Who says no? On this Balakot, our party was the first party which stood with the government. I personally attended the meeting and said...
And what do you say about the naysayers who have been asking for proof of evidence?
You'll have to ask the party which asked for that. It's not us.
You
Please
don't
ask the
think
party.
that was right?
Well, what was not right was the party president getting up and giving a number out of the blue as though he personally went and counted. He didn't count. He should not have given a number. He was irresponsible.
Well,
He was irresponsible according to me.
Sucharita, you still want evidence?
Who gave him the number?
No, see, we just went by the media reports. There was,
Navika, where did the question numbers come up? The numbers came up because government sources told numbers.
As an opposition,
see, we all are
it is our
intelligent
duty
people,
to know the truth.
and of course, since we all are intelligent people, there are NTRS sources, etc., which said that 300 mobile phones were functioning in the area when the Balakot strike took place on the heart of that hill, particular hill.
250 number come?
So why not? If 300 mobiles have...
You can just ban me any number.
Sir, we should not be fighting like this.
No, we are not.
Number one, what did Mr. Amit Shah said? 250 से अधिक आतंकवादियों को मार दिया.
No, he said 250.
No, he said 250 से अधिक. 250 से ज़्यादा. I know my president's voice. I know what the party president said. 250 से अधिक. 300 mobile phones were functioning. All this has been corroborated. We have other intelligence report also. Why should not India pat its own back if we have done something good in eliminating terrorism?
Anand,
why should all we be...
Is that a point of view you support?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair enough thing. Ample investigations have pointed to the fact that they were in the excess of 250 to 300 people, the terrorists there. But, can I just take 10 seconds to ask two questions? One, to the rather alarmist Mr. Pinaki, who's disappointed me, if that is the situation of sex and drugs and rock and roll, discouraging tourism, then what about Bodh Gaya? Don't the same kind of tourists? And secondly, Mr. Patra, Dr. Patra, now there is ample proof to suggest that if the Supreme Court verdict goes against the Ram Mandir construction, BJP would overturn it. So many of your, people have said this. Why haven't you overturned the Sabrimala judgment?
Okay, Anand, straight answer to your question.
Yeah.
Today, Puri is functioning 365 days in the year. It's a 100% occupancy destination. Do you know that? You can't get a hotel room anywhere.
No.
365 days in the year, Puri has 100% occupancy. There is extraordinary amount of influx of tourists here. So for you to, cite the example of both Gaya, for you, earlier Puri used to be a seasonal tourist destination. Now it's 365 days in the year.
Navika, a very important point
and
over
therefore
here.
crime sometimes follows
just a second.
Very heavy influx of tourists. And,
no. Crime sometimes follows influx of tourists.
Because of tourists.
But I mean, everything is because of tourists.
No,
just a second.
The person who has been the prime mover here is their candidate now.
Pinaki,
He is their local MLA candidate.
Just a second.
The flight which we came on was empty, even at peak election time.
Which flight did you take?
We took the Air India flight. There was an Indigo flight in the morning.
There was
Air India flight is not very popular.
Even Indigo.
Let's not go into Air India.
I traveled to Bhubaneswar.
The point being that there is capacity that exists because people are not coming in enough numbers.
Navika, let's take the challenge up. After the show, I would request you, humbly folded hands, go to the beach of Puri. Puri's beach is supposed to be one of the best beaches in the country.
Yes, we just
one of the
went
best
there this
beaches.
morning.
But look at the infrastructure. Okay, well, yes, you don't want the foreigners to come there. aren't we, the domestic people, I mean, don't we expect any kind of infrastructure? You yourself are speaking. Look at us. We are sitting in front of the sun, the glare of the sun. We are burning ourselves up. Why don't we have any kind of infrastructure put up for the tourists in the beach? Look at the tidiness of the beach. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Look at the cleanliness across India today. Indoor, etc. have really won certificates. But why not my beautiful city of Puri? Why with such beautiful beaches?
Dr. Patra, Sabrimala.
You've sidestepped the question on Sabrimala.
Sabrimala, my Adhyaksh, Amit Shah ji came out on the stage, roared like a tiger, and he said, कि नहीं चलेगा.
तब Constitution, तब Supreme Court important नहीं है.
Rights,
Supreme Court खाली राम मंदिर के लिए important
You
है.
have to remember one thing. Rights and rituals are two different issues. As far as Sabrimala is concerned, it is an issue of rituals, and that's the reason as to why, respecting the court, we have stated.
Is the
what
Ram Mandir not
ritualistic
part
stand
of the
is.
rituals, not part of the faith?
Look, it's their promise. They have to keep it.
We will keep it.
They are hoisting their own petard.
But you don't want a Ram Mandir at the Janambhoomi site.
Look, as far as Odisha is concerned, this is our mandir.
I asked you a pointed question.
Lord Jagannath is our Lord.
What
Ram
about
Mandir
Ram
has no
Mandir?
traction in Odisha, let me tell you. Has no traction at all. Because we are all Jagannath Bhakts. I'm sorry, I mean,
is
this
true.
is different. This is
We don't
horses
think
for
of anything
courses.
else.
Different parts
On
of the
Jagannath.
country.
On Jagannath.
Different parts of the country. There are different parts of, ways religions.
On Jagannath.
Here it's all Lord
That
That
is
is
Jagannath.
by
why
saying-
BJP hasn't been able to
That's-
make
which is
any
why
road
BJP gets
in
no
Odisha
traction here.
because of that.
On Jagannath, I mean, he's absolutely right to say that Jagannath is our Lord, which I also agree, that each Oriya, this emotion and sentiment is with Lord Jagannath.
He's
He's a
the
family
universal
member.
God for
He's a
us.
family member. But I'll tell you the fact, and please research on it. Jagannath's do aankhein hain unki na. One is the Sevayat and the other is the Bhakta. One for the ones who pray him. The devotees who are inside the temple take care of him, and the other are the devotees who come from outside. Both of them are crying. Number one, the Sevayats are crying because of the fact that there's too much of interference by the state government for doing away with the rituals and the culture which exists since thousands of years. Number two, as far as the Bhaktas are concerned, no infrastructure. I'm sorry to state, this is the Adi Dham, one of the first dhams of Sanatan Dharma. But look at other places. Go to Vaishnav Devi Mataji or Tirupati. You will find roads. You will find transportation.
Dr. Patra.
You will find eateries everywhere for the bhaktas. But the state government has not done the same for the devotees
This is
coming to
where-
Odisha. Why not?
This is where your hypocrisy comes
Why?
from. In 2014, Narendra Modi said the government has no business to be in business. In 2019, in the last 5 years, government is not only running Air India and other businesses, it's also running temples. Government should not be.
Exactly.
Yesterday,
They have
Supreme Court-
interfered. They have interfered.
You-
and the
There
Supreme
is an
Court rightly-
act of
they have
plea.
interfered.
Maharashtra, you are
Enacted
taking over
and a
temples.
Anand,
Supreme
you
Court
should know
constitution
what
made
they have
judgment.
done
should
for
not
the-
be running temples.
So
There's
who
no
is running it? The
constitution
BJP
made
is
judgment.
running the
I
temple.
want
I
to
hope
come
Dr.
back to
Patra
the-
knows that the
we are not
constitution
running
made
temples.
judgment.
All right,
We don't
I
want
want
any
to come back
interference
to
of
the
government
big
in the
picture
temple.
at the end of this big national debate. And the big picture, once again, is in West, in Maharashtra, Gujarat and Rajasthan, the BJP had peaked in the 2014 elections. In central India, in Uttar Pradesh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, again the BJP had peaked in 2014. All of these states are going to see willy-nilly some dip in the BJP's fortunes. Do we actually think, Pinaki, that in West Bengal, in the Northeast, in Assam, in Odisha, the story is going to change? The BJP is going to be a big force to reckon
Look,
with?
I'm not a psephologist. I'm not a political forecaster. I don't know what will happen in West Bengal. I don't know what will happen in the Northeast. I can tell you what will happen here. The one seat they won, they will for sure lose this time. The Sundargarh seat, they won by 12,000.
So you're saying they'll get a zero?
No, they will not get a zero. I'm not ever a hypocrite on television. I will not, or in real life for that matter. So I'm not going to. So therefore.
I'm glad you corrected
Yeah.
that.
So therefore, I'm not going to make hypocritical statements on television. What I'm going to say is that the BJP will go up from the one they had, but not the seat they had. Will go up to about 3 or 4 is a conservative estimate. I think the BJD.
Despite the fact
The
that
Congress,
the
in
Congress
fact, has a
ceded-
chance on one seat. The Congress has a chance. We are in a direct fight with the Congress on one seat, Navrangpur. Apart from that, we are in direct fight with the BJP virtually on all other seats. But I think they'll get 3 or 4.
4 seats is
Navrangpur, one seat, we'll get 15 to 16.
Would one seat
See,
among
no
the
one
3
gave
and 4
us
be
no
Dr.
one,
Patra?
no one gave us a government in 2014. No one gave us a government in Haryana. No one gave us a government in Maharashtra. No one talked about us forming the government in Uttar Pradesh. But yet, the people of this country are intelligent enough to know who is the person who can give us the future. They know that Narendra Modi has the vision. They know that Narendra Modi has the performance, and that's the reason as to why when the result comes out
Anand
on
Ranganathan,
23rd
are
of
you
next
convinced?
month, you would see who would be the Prime Minister and how he would be the Prime
Anand Ranganathan, are you convinced this is Modi versus all and Modi is going to come out trumps as Dr. Sambit Patra puts
I don't know whether he's going to come out trumps, but the signs are increasingly looking likely that might be the
But
case.
he may
but
need-
he is
he may need
definitely
some
it's
help.
Modi versus the rest. Oh yes,
he may need some
Oh
help.
yes, and however much Mr. Pinaki might deny that there will not be any post-poll
He's in the
alliance.
reserve
It's Dr.
battalion.
Patra who has said that we don't need them. He has to answer his high
He's
command.
in the
He has
reserve
to answer his high
battalion.
command.
A week
Where-
is a long time
I'll
in
remind his high
politics,
command
as
of
you know.
Dr. Patra's statement. and
Sucharita
I'll certainly have
Mohanty,
you on
where
tape.
is Rahul Gandhi in all of this?
In Odisha, you mean
He
to
says,
say,
she said that
all
he's
India.
nowhere.
Rahul Gandhi is very much there. Rahul Gandhi
There.
will
Not in
swing.
Odisha,
In Odisha, of
in
course, I have
other
already said this.
in other mirages somewhere in
no,
the country.
No, not
He's in
other
Wayanad,
villages.
Wayanad.
All over in, we have proved it in 3 states.
All
Madhya
right.
Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and 3 states we have
Are
already
the
proved.
3 state elections
and just
of
wait.
December really going to be the harbinger of what is going to happen nationally, or is Narendra Modi going to script a new history in 2019, or will he need to depend on friends, actually foes, who may in future turn friends like the Biju Janata Dal? I thank all of you for coming out today, right in the Sharan, as they say, of Lord Jagannath in Puri here. I'm signing off from the temple town of Puri. Back to you, and I'll go across to a next destination soon for the national debate from other parts of the country. Thank you very much for joining me.